ladies and gentlemen, Maxie Jones.
It's 1974. I'm 12 years old, growing up in the projects in the Bronx, New York. I can see my mother in the kitchen working away at the dish that she is most known for, her banana pudding. Now, personally, I never really liked banana pudding. I'm a chocolate man myself. But my Uncle James, he would come over and he would say, Lena Pearl, you know, don't nobody in this family make no banana pudding like you. And Miss Brown, our neighbor, she would be like, girl, Lena Pearl, you the best around. And that's how I knew that my mother made the best banana pudding. So I was watching her make it, and I said to her, I was like, Ma, I don't get it. It's only 3 ingredients. She's like, boy, listen, let me tell you something. This is more than just 3 ingredients. It takes a special touch to make a good banana pudding. If you want to learn, I'll show you. So I said, okay. So the next time she made a banana pudding, she sent me to the store. She said, here, take this list, and don't you let nobody see this list. You hear me? And I went to the store, and I pulled the list out of my pocket, put it back real quick, grabbed the bananas off the shelf. And she had told me, she said, don't you get them bananas too ripe, because you don't want them black spots in your banana pudding. But don't you get them too green neither. Took the list out again, put it back. Vanilla wafers. She said, if it says vanilla, don't you touch it. And finally, vanilla extract. She said, don't you come here with that imitation stuff. It needs to say pure on the bottle. So I got that stuff, and I made it home without nobody seeing my mother's list. And that's when she taught me how to make my first banana pudding. After that, anytime she made it, for any occasion, she would say, come on, and we would make it together. And somebody would say, Lena Pearl, this banana pudding's so good. And she would say, don't tell me, tell him he made it. And I ain't say nothing, I just went ahead and took the credit. Then about 3 years later, when I was 15 years old, my mother passed away unexpectedly. I was the youngest of 5 and the only boy. My father, he wasn't far away. He and my mother had separated when I was 3, and so he would come around once in a while, and we had a lot of help from aunts and uncles, and our friends' parents, they helped us out a lot. But nobody lived with us, so we stuck together and took care of each other. My sister Lillian was 20 years old. She became my legal guardian, and she would look at my report cards, and she would say, you know what mommy would say, don't you? I know you could do better than this. And she would sign it and send me back to school. My sister Zita, who was 18, had just graduated from high school herself. And open school night came, and she was like, come on, you know mommy will take you, so come on. And she would talk to my teachers about my grades. But during that time, wasn't nobody making no banana pudding. Till about 20 years later, I was 35 years old, I'm sitting in my apartment in Harlem, and all of a sudden, I got a taste for some banana pudding. Now, I never liked it before, but this time, I wanted some. And I was like, wait a minute. Let me see if I can still make this stuff. So I went to the store to get the ingredients. I get to the checkout counter. I'm standing in line. There's a man in line behind me, and he goes, excuse me, my brother. You forgot the vanilla extract. I lied to him and said, oh man, I got some in the house already. Truth is, vanilla extract has 35% alcohol. And I was at a point in my life where I couldn't really mess with that. So I went in the house, and I started making the banana pudding, and I was remembering my mother's directions step by step. I started slicing the bananas, and I could hear my mother saying, don't you throw away the tips of the bananas, you're going to need them to fill in the empty spaces. I started laying out the cookies in the pan. I could hear my mother saying, don't worry about the cookies overlapping. It's better to have them overlap than to have gaps in between them. Then I was putting the bananas on top of the cookies, and my mother was saying, if you see the piece of banana touching the side of that bowl, you stick a cookie in between there. And I finished my banana pudding, and it just so happened that evening I had some friends coming over. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to let them try it. So my friends came over, we finished eating dinner, and I was like, y'all know what? I made something I want y'all to try. They laughed. They're like, yeah, yeah, all right, man, we'll try it. So I gave him a little bit. My friend Martin, he was like, hold up, man. This is actually better than my mother's banana pudding. My friend Sandra was like, hold up, man. You mean you've been keeping this a secret for all these years? And that's when I knew I still had that special touch. So not long after that, a friend came to me. She's a member of a group called Women in the Black. They would give different events and raise money for charity, and they would help raise up teenage girls in Harlem. So they were having this event called Men Cooking for Change. And she approached me and she was like, Maxie, we don't have enough chefs in this event. Would you like to be a chef? I was like, no, you don't want me to be a chef. I can't cook nothing. She's like, come on now. I know there's something you know how to make. And I just knew that this wouldn't fly. So I was like, well, look, the only thing I know how to make is banana pudding. She said, really? Oh, that's great. We never have enough desserts. So first I was like, And then she said, and all these women who come to that event. I was like, bet. My friend Richard was with me. I was like, and can he come too? She was like, yeah, you could bring one guest to help you out. So I was like, all right, come on, Rich. We got a free pass to a room full of women. And she told us, she was like, now y'all listen, this is a competition. So you gotta come, you gotta dress formally, you have to have a chef's hat, and bring a really nice tablecloth, because it's all about presentation. So we were like, yeah, all right. So when me and Richard arrived, we were amazed at what we saw. There were brothers in tuxedos, they had chef's hats, they had decorations and beautiful tablecloths. They were from restaurants and catering businesses. There was this brother who made a dessert that had fire shooting out of it. Another brother made watermelon cake. Me and Richard walked in, each one of us carrying a dollar store pan, covered with aluminum foil, and we just set them down on a bare table, like that. We were like, to hell with them, we ain't trying to win no competition. We just here to check out the ladies. So when the event got started, I told Richard, I said, Richard, look, I'm gonna stand here and just spoon this banana pudding. You go ahead out there and talk to the ladies. When you're done, we switch. He's like, all right. After a while, there were 8 categories in this competition. There's beef, pork, chicken, fish, vegetarian, pasta, rice, and dessert. And there's a celebrity judge for each category. The Reverend Al Sharpton walked over to my table. He was like, listen, man, I ain't no dessert judge, but I heard this banana pudding is happening. So I tried to spoon him some. He was like, no, hold it, man. You know I got that sugar. And I understood, because even if you ain't know nothing else about Reverend Al Sharpton, you knew he had diabetes. Then a couple of officials came over. They had a clipboard. They were like, so, tell us about your dish. I was like, it's banana pudding. They were like, no, tell us about it. I was like, man, this is my mama's banana pudding. They were like, okay. And then they walked away. At the end of the event, they had all the chefs come up onto the stage, and they announced all the winners. And then they said, and the winner of the dessert category is my mama's banana pudding. I couldn't see out into the crowd, but I could hear my friend Rich say, "Oh shit, we won!" After that, we had all the women we wanted to talk to. After that evening, I started getting all sorts of orders for banana pudding. I was making it for restaurants, caterers. I was making it for people's holidays. I mean, I was making banana pudding every night. But the more and more I made it, the more and more sad I would become while I was making it. And the reason was because I would picture my mother with her arms around me, giving me step-by-step directions. But even more so, I would always think about that boy who I know the pain that he's about to deal with in the loss. I know that on Mother's Day, when his friends are shopping for cards, that he doesn't have to shop for a Mother's Day card. And that his mother will not be attending his high school graduation. And that when he shows up to college, his roommates' parents are there helping him, and he's there by himself with a bag over his shoulder. And so I decided that I wasn't going to make any more banana pudding. People would call and make orders, and I would just tell them that I had too many orders, I couldn't make any. So after a while, the orders just stopped, and I didn't make any more banana pudding, not even for my own family. So one day I was talking to a friend about it, and I was telling her why I didn't make it anymore, and she said to me, she said, "You know, Maxie, I don't understand. Why do you feel sorry for that boy? Isn't that boy you? You turned out okay, didn't you?" And when I realized that, yeah, I turned out all right, I was able to go back again and make banana pudding again. And the memory was then memories of joy and gratitude. Gratitude for my sisters who stepped in and filled the voids where the voids needed to be filled. My aunts and uncles, my friends' parents, and all the people who helped that kid to come out the other side okay. And gratitude for my sobriety. Thank you. So I have two sons. They are 4 and 6. They're not old enough to make banana pudding yet. But I can't wait. I can't wait for the opportunity, because this time it's not going to be like teaching them how to make a dessert. It's going to be passing down a legacy. And I get to teach them about their grandmother, Lena Pearl, whom they've never met. And hopefully, in the process of doing that, I'll pass on to them that special touch. Thank you.
Maxie Jones.